Hi everyone, Vanessa here from Solulu Rask, and welcome to my day on the Gift November 25 vlogger tour. Hope you've really enjoyed seeing all the different gift ideas that all the other vloggers have been suggesting. And today I thought I would do something a little bit different for me, because it's not dressmaking gifts, it is toy making gifts. So I have two very special friends with me today. I have Victoria and I have Dolly, and these two toys, soft toys, were made for me by my mum. Dolly was made in 1977 and Victoria, I think, probably about 1980, 1981, both from Women's Weekly Patterns. I have the Treasury Compendium from 1983, which has in it a version of the pattern for Victoria. And there she is, as she should be, with her cape and her hat. And I actually managed to find in a D-stash a version. This isn't my mum's version, this is a copy of the original pattern that Dolly was made from. So it just goes to show that handmade toys can certainly outlive any that are bought in the shops. So on that vein, I thought I would have a look through and see what I could bring to the table as far as gifting toys. So I've had a little look through. Now at this point, what I'm just going to say is, rather than go through the rules and regulations for the challenge and the prizes, I'm going to pop them at the end, all the slides that will tell you all the different things, all the different hashtags that you have to use. But in really brief, sew anything, any type of sewing, it's a gift. You show it in November. As I say, all the details will be on the slides at the end, so you can hang on till there to get all the details. So the first thing that I had a look for was like patterns that you could find to maybe stash bust, see what was in there. So I had a look through and I went on to Amazon, and I'm going to pop the link here. And it is a book called 50 Fat Quarter Toys, and I absolutely just loved the unicorn, which is what drew me to this book. But it is, as it said, it is a book containing patterns on how to make toys from fat quarter, so equally any fabrics that are in your stash. And also I think it's quite a cute idea, because you could use for like little bits of dresses and dressy up things, is the, you know, children's own clothing that they might not wear anymore, add them in onto the toy, and it'll be a nice little surprise when they open it up on Christmas Day. The next few are all from the same site, and there is a mixture here of free patterns and purchase patterns, and it's the Gathered website. So it's gathered.how. Any website, I will of course pop the link in the description box below, so you can click onto that and have a look yourself. The first one that I've got here is for this gorgeous little ragdoll. As I say, I am super fond of my two little ragdolls, which are, you know, 40 and 50 years old, and they're still faring pretty well. As I say, made for me by my mum. So I thought a ragdoll would be a fitting one to pop on there. And I thought this little ragdoll here from the Gathered website was just absolutely adorable. She's nice and squishy, so any little child can hold her onto the arm, take her to bed, cuddle in. Just definitely made to be, you know, loved, dragged around, played with. Now this is a purchase pattern. It is £7.99, but then you will get that sent to you, so you don't have to then go through all of the advertising to find the instructions or read through everything. It will be sent to you complete. There is a little note at the bottom of that page in particular, and for all of these things it's a good point to just have in mind, is if you're making any kind of toy or ragdoll and you are going to be gifting it to a little one, you do have to think about you know, the embellishments that you're putting on them. So both of these have, you know, stitch on bits. This is just like a little bit of felt that's been super glued on, and then the rest is embroidered. Victoria here, that's a little button that's been stitched on. Obviously nowadays that wouldn't comply with safety standards for children, so if you were going to put actual eyes on any of the toys, make sure they're safety eyes, or obviously you can just use embroidery and have them stitched, but obviously when you get the instructions for any of these toys it will go into all of that for you. So again, this is another one from the Gathered website, and this is free PDF download as well, and this is the DIY robot toy. How cute is this? If you've got some little boy perhaps that you want to make a toy for, not to say little girls can't have one either, but if you want something that's not Dolly or Teddy, a little bit different, how about making them their own little robot? How cute is this? Love the zip feature for the mouth and all the little digits on the front. This is so cute, and you could really customize this. You could even do different initials on the front to spell out the child's name. Yeah, I thought this was a really nice one to add into the mix. The next one I thought was absolutely fantastic, and this is from a website called Blue Susan Makes, and this is a gingerbread man glove puppet. So I'm going to pop him in here. Now they've made this one with plush fur, but I think you could quite easily make him from felt or anything else, you know, velvet, whatever you've got, and you could embellish it with rickrack. It could even be something that you make with a little one, you know, get all of the bits and pieces cut out, give it as a gift, and then it would be a really nice thing to make together over Christmas once they've opened the package. A bit like when you would all go around baking and making gingerbread biscuits, you could sit down and, you know, with the little one make the gingerbread hand puppet. Yeah, I quite fancy one of those for myself. I think he's absolutely adorable. Again, a different one that I found was a website called Two Owls Designs. Now, both of these first two are free PDF downloads from the site. There are versions that you can purchase that come in sets that are paid for. There are other little toys on the site that you can pay for the PDF, but these two particular ones are free, and they are Dinky Squirrel and Chubby Robin. And I just again thought they were really sweet little ideas that kids would just absolutely love. So yeah, a nice little website to look at. Now another little thing that I found here is actually an Easter themed toy. This again is from the Gathered website, but I thought it was quite cute. If you had somebody, you wanted to go more for the dolly theme, but not a dolly, but that same idea, I thought this was quite cute because it's a jointed rabbit toy. It still gives that rag dolly feel, but it's a bunny, and I just thought this was super, super cute. And yeah, could easily be male or female, it doesn't really matter. I think toys in general, when they're handmade like this, they can be unisex, so I don't think it matters. But also I think if you had, you know, a slightly older child, this would be quite a nice little make to say sit on the bed, you know, like a bit like a cushion. I've often had little like toy gifts as I was older. I think, you know, my mum bought me a teddy every year. If she didn't make one, she bought me one well up until I was in my 20s. And, you know, and they would just be almost like ornaments. So yeah, I think this is like a really nice one that would have quite a lot of longevity, because I don't think it's going to date as the child gets older. If you did want to make something, you know, perhaps a little bit more, I'm going to say special, because I think they're all special anytime you make a toy. I think it's quite special, but a little bit more considered, I'm going to pop it in here. Now it's a company called the Heirloom Pattern Company. Now there are options with this. You can just buy the PDF to make the toy, but you can also purchase an entire kit. And the particular one is the Bertie Bear kit. Now they do use these as a memory bear, which again is an amazingly thoughtful gift for somebody that you can use creating the toy, the bear in this case, from clothing that somebody had. It would be really sweet to make the bear out of, you know, baby clothing when the baby's grown out of it. I know mums don't like to throw it away. You could make up this bear for somebody. Equally, you could just make it up as a classic vintage look bear. But yeah, I thought this was really nice. Now this is something that I am going to purchase, not the kit, the PDF, because I want to make a memory bear. And I think this, I just love the style of this bear. I think he's got that real classic look, but he's got a lot of scope for personalization. So this is something that I think could be a gorgeous gift, that, you know, maybe not as a toy for a child, but perhaps as, I wouldn't say like an ornament. I don't know if, you know, do you remember that when you would get like, you know, like what are they called? Oh, like a porcelain doll that you would be given. It wasn't a toy, it was something to be treasured, and you didn't really play with it, you would admire it. And I kind of think that this teddy bear is a bit like that. It's something that can be treasured and taken through, and as well as, you know, giving it a cuddle, it's something that can sit, you know, in the furnishings around on a chair perhaps, and could be quite happily be gifted to an adult as well. And you can add that sentiment and those special little touches to this one. Yeah, so very different from me, just a quick little vlog, because I know there is so much going on in November, and as well as catching up with all these vlogs, you actually have to be making all your own items for Vlogmas. So yeah, so I'm not going to hang around too long taking up your precious time, but as I say, just a few ideas of some toy making things that you can, you know, make and gift. So slides coming up now of all the prizes and all the steps that you have to take to enter into the challenge, and hope you enjoy. Bye for now.